All right, as we speak, President Trump is getting ready to head up to Capitol Hill to try to salvage his multi-trillion-dollar tax and spending cut program. We've spoken to at least one Republican who says he's a no on this today. Why? He says the spending cuts do not go far enough. They don't do enough to reduce the budget deficits. Here's a question, though. It's an age-old question when it comes to politics. Do voters actually even care about deficits? One man knows the answer to that question. It is CNN's chief data analyst, Harry Enten. Explain.
Yeah, to quote Stephen A. Smith, they don't care. They don't care about those deficits. What are we talking about here? All right, let's take a look. Cut taxes, even if the deficit increases. Look at this. 60% overall say, cut those taxes, baby. What about Republicans? You know, they're the ones who are supposedly so concerned over the deficit. But even there, 74% say cut taxes, even if the deficit increases. Both overall and Republicans, they don't care. They don't care. In fact, the only ones who do seem to care are, in fact, Democrats. 55% of Democrats are opposed to cutting taxes if the deficit increases. But when it comes to Republicans, we're talking 3/4. The overall public, 3/5. They don't care. They say cut those taxes, even if the deficit increases.
You know, it's interesting because I've been around this politics game for a long, long time. And there are people in this business who will tell you when push comes to shove, voters never really care about deficits. But the polls and the data here show something a little different.
Yeah, this was something I think that came to a little bit of a surprise to my dear friend standing on the other side of your screen, Mr. Berman. Take a look here. Okay, cut taxes even if the deficit increases. Now, you know, it's that 60% we spoke about. But back in 1996, the real last time where there really was a movement to bring that deficit down, bring that debt down, it was just 23% who said cut taxes even if the deficit increases. So we've nearly seen a tripling, far more than doubling of the percentage of Americans who say that we should cut those taxes even if the deficit increases. And that's where we're standing right now, basically, amongst the American public. And why I think that this movement to basically try and, close down Trump's big, beautiful bill by making the argument that the deficit would increase, why will basically probably go nowhere at the end of the day, because the bottom line is voters overall and Republican voters especially say we want to cut those taxes even if the deficit increases, which is far, far different from where we were back in 1996 when, of course, Bill Clinton was president and we had a Republican House and a Republican Senate really trying to bring that deficit down.
Well, you bring up Clinton. You know, I was alive during the Clinton presidency. You barely so. And they actually had a budget surplus for like a minute there. But that didn't mean the national debt went down during his presidency. Do presidents ever reduce the national debt?
Yeah, I remember the Clinton presidency, but just the end of it, I don't remember the beginning of it. I don't remember him beating George H.W. Bush, just trying to illustrate the age dynamic going on your screen right now. Okay, who was the last president to lower the debt? You have to go all the way back to Calvin Coolidge, 1923 to 1929. He is buried in Vermont, in case you're interested in visiting the last president to, in fact, lower the debt during the course of their presidency. The last 16 presidents have failed. The closest ones were Bill Clinton back in 1993 to 2001, where he actually did, in fact, have a budget surplus, but over the course of his presidency, the debt went up. Or Harry S. Truman back from 1945 to 1953, who actually was able to lower the difference when, in fact, you take into account GDP. But overall, presidents, they may make promises to lower the debt, but they don't do it. They don't do it.
Except for Silent Cal, buried in Vermont. But where was he an elected official?
Massachusetts.
Thank you very much.
I know my stuff, John.
Kate Baldwin, to you.
There's so much interesting information in that, and then a bunch of extras. I mean,
yeah. It's TV, baby. It's TV. You give a little juice with a little bit of your special meal.
My love, you've had enough time. Zip time.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.